What's good, everybody? It's your boy Legacy, and not too much to say before this one, but I'm getting all your reaction requests for Jordan down that y'all put in the comments, and I'm really not excited about it, but I'm doing it. Not excited about it because I'm really not trying to come to that realization, but I'm trying to be unbiased as possible, as y'all can see, and I see that y'all like that I'm being unbiased, but it's extremely hard. It really is. But anyway, one last thing I want to say before we get this video started is I post Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays if y'all want to know. And also, oh yeah, not post, but put in the comment section videos of like Jordan's defensive highlights and stuff like that. I gotta see that before I come to that full conclusion. Or assist video, stuff like that. More than just him scoring, because I already told y'all after that last video, he's the best scorer ever. Point blank period. But anyway, let's get into this one. This is Michael Jordan's underrated years as a Wizard. And to be honest, I never watched his years as a Wizard. I just chalked it up there being trash because no one really talked about it. So maybe this will show me something. So. Oh, whoa, bro. Wait a minute. Where are you going?
The words Michael Jordan and underrated may seem like ludicrous to have in the same sentence.
That face is crazy
one of the
right
biggest
there.
icons in sports history and is recognized by most as the NBA's greatest player of all time. But when it comes to MJ's days with the Wizards, there is no question in my mind that those years are vastly underrated, and I believe by the end of this video, you'll be convinced of it too. When we take a look at Michael Jordan's career as a Chicago Bull, you'll see a resume of winning, excellence, and dominance. He was clearly the best player in the league just about every year he played, and he was the best player on both sides of the ball, just about every time he set foot on the court. This is the ridiculously high standards that Michael had set for himself, and that we
That's
as the
crazy.
fans had become accustomed to seeing from him. The Michael Jordan we knew in Chicago was always winning either MVPs, championships, or scoring titles. And this is exactly why so many people either underrate or have forgotten completely just how remarkable Jordan's stint was as a Washington Wizard. So what exactly are all the different reasons why people choose to overlook these seasons? Well, for one, as I just mentioned, the bar was set absurdly high by his Chicago Days standards. Number two, some believed his return tarnished the perfect ending of his career in Chicago. And number three,
I'm one of those
the
people.
bitter ending of Jordan's relationship with the Washington Wizards organization. After Jordan retired as a player from the Wizards, Jordan assumed that he would be able to return to his front office position as director of basketball operations with the Wizards. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Soon after Jordan's retirement as a Wizards player, Washington's Wizards owner Abe Pollin fired Jordan as the team's president of basketball operations. Jordan's previous tenure with the Wizards front office had produced mixed results. Many of Jordan's decisions as an executive did not pan out, including his decision to draft Kwame Brown straight out of high school, who ended up being a bust and was traded just 4 seasons after Jordan
Yeah, if one of your first decisions is Kwame Brown, yeah,
had drafted him. Jordan later stated that he felt betrayed, and that if he had known that he would be fired upon retiring as a player, he would have never come back to play for the Wizards in the first place. Regardless, Jordan had returned to play 2 years for the Wizards, and despite the fact that those 2 seasons failed to live up to his glory days in Chicago, and despite the fact that those 2 seasons
double
ended
clutch
in a
shot
bitter
is crazy.
firing, those seasons were still utterly remarkable, and in my opinion, they are 2 of the most underrated seasons in NBA history. So at this point, sit back and enjoy as I
In
break down the
NBA
astonishing
history?
details about Jordan's underrated years with the Wizards.
oh yeah, you better tell me
When
something.
Jordan had retired from the Bulls at the
She
end
kinda
of the
looked like Prince.
1998 NBA season, Jordan claimed he was
Sorry.
99.9% sure he would never play in the NBA again. As we all know, that 0.1% chance prevailed, and Jordan returned to the game he loved. Jordan's passion for the game was seen immediately upon his return, as he announced that all of his earnings from these upcoming seasons with Washington he would be donating to disaster relief funds for the 9/11 attacks in New York. After
Oh,
being completely apart from competitive basketball for 3 full seasons,
okay.
Jordan was returning as a
I
38-year-old
respect
who was
that a
trying to
lot.
get back into basketball shape. The comeback had plenty of physical obstacles as well. Jordan was heading into his return dealing with tendonitis in his wrist and in both of his knees. During a pickup game that offseason, Ron Artest had broke 2 of Jordan's ribs while playing physical defense on MJ.
In a
Jordan
pickup
would also
game?
go on to have fluid drained from his knees multiple
Why?
times throughout that year.
Why would
Michael Jordan
Ron Artest? Why are you going that hard in a pickup game, bro? Nah, he were they on the same team? If they weren't on the same team, he did that on purpose.
was joining a Wizards team who had finished the previous season with the 3rd worst record in the entire NBA at 19-63, despite the fact that they were
1963.
playing in a much weaker Eastern Conference. They also had the 2nd worst defense in the league in terms of opponents' points per game. They weren't just a lottery team. The Wizards were coming
They
off
keep
of their
showing me
worst
Kwame
season
Brown,
in
and that's
franchise
hilarious to me.
history. The deck was stacked against him, and Jordan and the
Who was
Wizards'
number 20?
01-02 season got off to a
Feels like he
slow
worked at
start
Walmart or
2-9.
something.
But they began to figure things out and went on a 9-game winning streak to improve their record to 14-12. Just 2 games later, Jordan had his worst performance of his return, shooting 2 for 10 from the field, finishing with only 6 points and losing by 27 points to the Indiana Pacers. Jordan was ice cold that entire game, and due to that, Michael's coach Doug Collins played Jordan in a reduced role, finishing the performance with only 25 minutes played. Jordan's 6-point game
Everybody
meant
got
that his
bad
all-time
games.
great streak of 866 games with at least 10 points had come to an end. This poor performance and reduced minutes led Jordan to question his coach's faith in his
Man,
ability.
800 and whatever games plus 10 points, and then you have a 6-point game. Forget that 6-point game. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm not putting that against you.
You know, that bus is lonely as a coach when you're sitting there after you've got your head handed to you. So I was sitting on the bus, and actually Michael had hired me. He was the part owner
Isn't it
and
ass
president
handed to you?
GM. Hired me to be the coach, and then he came back to play. I'll never forget this moment ever as a coach. That this to me was greatness. He got on the bus and he said, "Scoot over." And he looked at me and he said, "Do you think I can still play?" And I said, "Absolutely. That's why I'm here, to be here to help you." He said, "You know, to be my coach, you have to believe in me and believe I can still play." And I said, "Michael, I believe in you." We play the New Jersey Nets the next
That's
night.
that's sentimental, whatever. But that's so awkward. Like, what are you supposed to say to Michael Jordan if he asks you, can he still play? No. And then be the person that told Michael Jordan he couldn't still play. Like, come on now. You can only hold that but so much. Like, that can only hold but so much weight, conversation-wise.
And Michael scores the first 3 times he has the ball. Byron Scott takes a timeout, and Michael comes over and he says, "I want the ball right there the rest of the game, and don't take me out till I tell you." And so that's fine by me. So with 2 minutes to go in the game, he gives me the sign like, "That's enough." I take him out of the game. He walks over to the bench. I said, "Michael, what happened tonight?" He said, "Well, the guy who was guarding me was told me his back was hurting. Don't ever tell me you got a problem." He said, I'll make you pay for that." 51 points later. 51 points at age 41. He came back the next game with 46. And he looked at me and he said, "I told you I could still play."
Jordan responded in the following game the way a champion responds. He proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he could still play in this league. Jordan was torching the Charlotte Hornets, playing like a man possessed. He scored 51 points on 55% shooting, adding 7 rebounds.
Wait a minute.
4
Wait.
assists, and 3 steals.
So, sorry if I'm late on this. So Jordan retired, then went and was a part of their management team or coaching staff or whatever. They did terrible, so he was like, "I'm about to just play for y'all now." That's tough. That's tough. Respect. Respect.
Jordan continued his dominance into the following game.
Those double
scoring
clutch
an
mid-ranges
efficient
are
45 points,
I've never
10
seen anyone do
rebounds,
that.
and 7 assists on an extremely talented New Jersey Nets team that went on to the NBA Finals that season. With these remarkable performances, Jordan became the only player in NBA history to score 50 points in a game in 3 different decades. No other player in NBA history has even done 40 points in a game in 3 different decades. Less than a month later, he had another back-to-back 40-point games, including a game-winning buzzer beater over the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Wizards started the season with a 26-21 record, and on the 47th game, Jordan collided with a teammate and tore his meniscus.
Damn.
He tried to play through the pain and on reduced minutes, but after another 14 games, he had arthroscopic knee surgery to repair the knee, and his season was over. Before Jordan's injury occurred, Jordan was averaging 25.1 points per game, 6.2 assists.
So, he was on the coaching staff. They sucked. So he comes back the next season, puts on a uniform, and drops 25 a game with 6 assists, 5 rebounds. I was wrong. Point blank period. I was wrong about Jordan in the Wizards years. I was completely wrong, man.
5.3 rebounds and
That's
1.5
tough.
steals per game. It's unfortunate that we didn't
What was
get
he,
to
like,
see a
38?
healthy Jordan make it through
That's
the season.
tough.
Because the reality was, he was getting better as the season progressed and as he got back into basketball shape. In his last 20 games leading up to his injury, Jordan was averaging 27.5 points per game, 6.4 assists, 5.2 rebounds, and 1.3 steals per game on 44% shooting.
On
In his last 10
44%?
games leading up to the injury, Jordan was averaging 29.7 points,
That's
6.6
disgusting.
assists, 6.1
That's
rebounds,
disgusting.
1.2 steals on 47% shooting. Also before Jordan's
What's standing out to
injury,
me is
the
those
Wizards were on a
assists.
47-win pace and were well in the playoff hunt. Up to that point, no team in NBA history had ever been a sub-20 win team and got on to have a winning record the following season. Jordan had the Wizards well on their way, up until the meniscus happened. Something else to consider is that the Wizards' second option, Richard Hamilton, missed 5 weeks of their 26
I'm sorry, he
and 21
just
stretch
looks funny.
due to Hamilton's groin injury. After
Like the
Hamilton
top of
healed
his
and
head
returned
looks
to the
really
floor,
fat,
the
and
Wizards
then this
went
part
on a
looks really
remarkable
skinny.
15-1
Sorry,
streak
that
while
was
they had
random and
both
rude.
Jordan and Hamilton healthy on the floor. When you add all of this up, you begin to realize that not only did Jordan take one of the worst teams in the league and make them competitive, but had it not been for his knee injury, the Wizards would have had a legitimate shot at the first seed in the Eastern
Who else took one of the worst teams and
Conference.
I
Not
didn't
only
say
was
that.
MJ
I
getting
didn't
better
say that.
offensively as the season went on,
Good pass.
but his defensive impact was getting better as well. Remember how the 2001 Wizards had the second worst defense in the league in terms of opponents' points per game? Jordan was the Wizards' only significant addition to their 2002 season, and at the time the knee injury had occurred, he had improved the Wizards to the 6th best defense in opponents' points per game, allowing only 92.2 points. In Jordan's last 35 games leading up to the injury, the Wizards were allowing only 90 points per game, on pace to have them ranked 3rd overall defensively in the entire NBA. In the 15-1 stretch that Jordan and Hamilton were both actually healthy and on the floor together, the Wizards were allowing just 86.3 points per game, which was by far the best
feel like
defense
he's
in
already
the entire
smacked
league.
my bad.
The Miami Heat finished as the
I just
number
be
1
talking,
defense
I'm
that
sorry.
season, allowing a higher 88.7 points per game. If Jordan and Hamilton had been able to remain healthy for the duration of the 2002 season, they may have finished with the best defense in the entire NBA. Again, with Jordan being the only major addition, the Wizards went from the second worst defense in the league to one of the best the NBA had to offer. That's the effect a 38-year-old Michael Jordan had on a lottery team.
What the fuck? Did he just... Oh my God. Did he just two-hand...
From the second worst defense in the league to one of the best the NBA had to offer. That's the effect a 38-year-old Michael Jordan had on a lottery team. After Jordan's knee injury and eventually the termination of his season, the Wizards absolutely imploded, winning only 11 of their next 35 games. After Jordan's injury, the Wizards allowed an average of 96.8 points per game, which would rank them in the bottom half of the league at 19th. With Jordan being the only significant addition to the Wizards roster between the 01-02 season, the Wizards roster improved 16 wins. Outside of Jordan, the 2002 Wizards' only additions were 5 bench players, who each played few minutes. Tyronn Lue played 20 minutes per game, rookie Kwame Brown played 14, rookie Brendan Haywood played 13, rookie Eton Thomas played 13, and rookie Bobby Simmons played 11. Again, the addition of Jordan was the only significant addition, and the team was transformed defensively and won almost twice as many games as the year before. Jordan was still dealing with injuries heading into the following season, and because of this, Jordan started the first 15 games of the 2002-2003 season coming off of the bench. In his second season in Washington, Jordan was the only Wizard to play all 82 games, and he was 40 years old.
Goodness.
He also became the only 40-year-old in NBA history to score over 40 points in a game, which he did several times that season.
That's crazy.
He also became the oldest player in NBA history to average at least 20 points per game. Despite the best efforts of a 40-year-old legend, the Wizards still fell short of the Eastern Conference playoffs. So let's take a look at some of Jordan's numbers with the Wizards in comparison to last year's numbers from some of today's modern NBA stars. As you can see, in many of these cases, Jordan's numbers were just as good, if not better, than a lot of today's modern NBA stars. Also consider the fact that we're comparing the numbers of an injury-laden 40-year-old player to young, healthy players in the prime of their careers. When you look at it that way, you begin to realize just how impressive Jordan's Wizards seasons actually were. Now let's take a moment to compare Jordan's seasons to other legends when they played as a 38 or 39-year-old. As you can see, these numbers aren't even close to Jordan's level of production at the same age. Jordan was just on another level completely, performing at a level that the league had never seen before or since at that age. So now that we've just thoroughly examined Jordan's production and how he impacted one of the worst teams in the NBA by joining them, let's pause for a moment to consider what may have happened if he spent those comeback years on an actual contender instead of a lottery team.
No, I'm okay. I don't deal with the what ifs and what if this happened or what if. Nah, I don't do that. Whatever. But hey, I was wrong. Like I said, I was 100% wrong. I thought he was trash his last season or whatever. I respect the fact that he said all of the money that he was getting from those seasons was going to whatever it was going to, disaster relief, I think. And then the fact that it was a boss move for him to just join the team after that, bro. And then the fact that he was averaging 20 points. He's the oldest person to ever, not consecutively, but have 40-point games. Like, I did not know that, man. Wow. I was wrong. I don't say that much. I gotta go.